The Starbucks branch on Lexington Avenue in New York City was as crowded as ever that day. Business people, students, and coffee enthusiasts were going about their daily hustle and bustle over hot drinks. One of the baristas, Emma Reed, was a student working part-time to pay for college. Her friendly and positive demeanor made her popular with the customers. Just then, a tall and quiet young man walked in. Barron Trump, the youngest son of former U.S. President Donald Trump, wanted to escape his bodyguard for a brief moment of independence. He was slightly nervous as he entered the Starbucks, looking at the menu but unsure of what to order. When it was her turn, she hesitated slightly and said, "A caramel macchiato, please." His voice was low and a little timid. Emma, standing at the counter, gave him an encouraging smile. "Coming right up. That'll be $5.75, she said warmly. Barron reached into his pocket, but a moment of panic flashed across his face. He couldn't find his wallet. "I think I left my wallet at home," he said in a slightly embarrassed voice. Without hesitation, Emma said, "No problem. This one's on me," Emma said without hesitation. She pulled her card out of her apron pocket and handed it to the payment machine. Then, handing Barron the receipt, she added with a warm smile, "It can happen to anyone." Barron looked at him with a surprised and grateful expression. "Thank you," he said, his voice low but sincere. He took his coffee and sat at a table in the corner, thinking about what had happened. Weeks had passed. Emma had long forgotten his small favor. She had just sincerely helped a stranger and moved on with her life. For Emma, it was an ordinary part of everyday life. But for Barron, that simple gesture had left a deep imprint on his soul. One evening at dinner, at the big table at Mar-a-Lago, Barron was dining with his family. But there was only one thing on his mind: the kind girl he had met at Starbucks. Barron turned toward his father, Donald Trump, and suddenly said, "Dad, I want to tell you something." Starting slowly, he began to describe the moment with Emma. That day there was a girl at the Starbucks on Lexington Avenue. She noticed me, realized I had lost my wallet, and without thinking, she paid for my coffee. You know how sometimes people step in to help without even waiting? That's how it was. He did it in a very natural way, without any difficulty, as if he didn't want to put anyone else in a difficult situation. Donald Trump was listening intently to his son. He was struck by the gratitude and respect in Barron's voice. Donald felt a sense of pride to see his son so moved. Barron's words were more than just a kindness. They symbolized the power of goodness and trust between people. Donald nodded, realizing the meaning of his son's words. "What's her name?" Donald asked, thinking a little deeper. "Emma. She works at the Starbucks on Lexington Avenue," Barron replied, gratitude still in his eyes. Trump's eyebrows rose slightly when he said Emma's name. On the one hand, he thought about her simple but meaningful gesture to pay for her coffee. At the same time, he realized how precious this encounter had been, touching Barron's life so deeply. After a long silence, Trump turned to Barron. He fully grasped the significance of that moment. He thought about how much one person can change another's life with a small act of kindness from the heart. "We will visit him and thank him," Trump said firmly. Acts of kindness like this should not go unnoticed. Someone who helps people, especially people like us, should always be appreciated. Barron nodded in respect for his father's words and said, "Yes, Dad. I really want to thank her. I know what a valuable person that girl is." Donald Trump smiled slightly when he saw Barron's emotional reaction. It's good for us to not only see the good, but to return it. Such people are rare in the world. We will show him his worth. With these words, Trump was teaching Barron the importance not only of appreciation, but also of rewarding a good deed in the name of humanity. In that moment, Barron realized that Emma's simple but profound act not only impacted his own life, but also had a broader meaning. Emma's goodwill had not just paid for a coffee, but had left a larger imprint on her inner world. Now, Barron and his father would make a plan to find Emma and thank her. The Trump family deeply appreciated this small favor and wanted to return it in the most appropriate way. On Saturday afternoon, the Starbucks on Lexington Avenue was as busy as ever. Emma was behind the counter, frothing milk, while keeping track of customers' orders. The crowd, combined with the sound of the coffee machines, gave the store a familiar hum. But this buzz was abruptly interrupted by a group appearing at the door. Men in black suits entered the store, followed by Donald Trump, flanked by Barron and several security guards. The store was suddenly silent, customers watching in amazement at this unexpected sight. Despite Trump's imposing presence, he had a warm smile on his face. After looking around, he asked in a booming voice, "Is Emma Reed here?" Emma looked up in surprise. Her hands were still on the frothing cup for her latte. Her eyes were wide, and she didn't know what to do. She took a step forward, straightening her apron slightly. "It's me," she said, her voice gentle but firm. Trump walked up to her and held out his hand. "Emma, I've heard so much about you from my son Barron, and the kindness you showed him that day was truly extraordinary." Barron quietly stepped forward from his father. The young man looked at Emma with a slight shyness. "I've never forgotten what you did that day," he said. "I wanted to thank you again." Emma's cheeks flushed and she lowered her eyes to the floor. "It was really nothing," she murmured. In a gentle but firm voice, Trump said, "I don't think so. Small acts of kindness can change the world, Emma. And you did it for my son." An aide standing next to Trump handed Emma an elegant envelope. "This is a token of our appreciation," Trump said. When Emma opened the envelope, her eyes widened. Inside was a scholarship that would fully cover her college expenses and a heartfelt thank you note from Barron. But Trump's surprises didn't stop there. "Emma," Trump said, looking into her eyes, "I always like to work with talented and hardworking people. When you graduate from university, we would love to have you in one of our companies. If you are interested, you can work with a team that will mentor you and help you realize your potential." Emma's eyes filled with tears. She had never expected to receive such an offer in her life. "Really, this is an incredible opportunity," she said, her voice trembling. "Thank you so much." Trump smiled slightly. "We should thank you, Emma. You gave Barron not just a coffee, but a life lesson. You showed how a small act of kindness can have a big impact." Everyone in the Starbucks began to applaud. Emma clutched the envelope tightly, unable to hold back her tears. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "Just stay as you are," Trump said, smiling slightly. "That's more than enough," he said. As the motorcade left the store, customers congratulated Emma. Emma knew that this experience was not just a reward. Deep in her heart, she felt it was a lesson, a reminder that even small acts of kindness can have unimaginable effects. This story reminds us how a small act of kindness can have a big impact. When Emma helped Barron without expecting anything in return, it opened unexpected doors in his life. It shows the power of kindness and how helping others can actually light our own path. We must also remember that opportunities can often come when we least expect them. Everyone's story is important, and sometimes a small gesture can leave an unforgettable mark on someone else's life. Kindness is always the right choice, because a good deed from the heart has the power to change the world. If you were inspired by this story and would like to hear more meaningful stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can help us reach more people by liking and sharing our videos. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be notified about our new videos. Hope to discover more stories together. See you in the next video.